Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to this 5-minute fitness tips episode of the Live, Train, Perform podcast. I'm your host, Sean Kober. During today's episode, we are going through some examples of progressive overload. So over the last couple of Thursdays, I've gone through the dose-response relationship, which is essentially doing the right amount of work in regards to training that's going to elicit the response that we want without overdoing it or underdoing it, finding that Goldilocks point where we're getting a return on our investment. Then I went into the introduction to progressive overload, which is essentially challenging the systems a little bit more each time so that our body can adapt in a positive manner. And I talked about a number of different ways to use progressive overload, which was to increase weight, which is typically where most people go first. We can also increase range of movement. We can add a rep to each set. We can add a set. We can increase time under tension. We can reduce rest periods, etc., etc. So there's many different ways to use progressive overload. But in this episode, I'm going to give some specific examples. So everyone knows the 5x5 protocol, okay, which is an excellent protocol for building strength in particular, but also a little bit of muscle. So I'm going to use that protocol as an example, and I'm going to use the back squat with 100 kilos. All right, so let's say we're doing 5x5 back squats at 100 kilos with 2 minutes rest. Okay, that equals 500 kilograms per set for a total of 2,500 kilograms of volume. All right, throughout the entire training session. Now, what we want to do is look at the total volume. We want to look at how much weight is on the bar. We want to look at how many sets we're doing, how many reps we're doing, how long our rest period is, and look at our time under tension or our tempo. All right, so the first way that we can use progressive overload is to increase weight. So I might take 5x5 back squat at 105 kilos with 2 minutes rest. Okay, so the only thing that's changed here is the weight. We've bumped up 5 kilos. Now, instead of 500 kilos per set, we've now increased that to 525 kilos per set, okay, which is going to increase the total volume lifted from 2,500 kilograms to 2,625 kilograms, okay? So we've just added weight, we've added total volume. All right, so that's one way to use progressive overload. The next way that I like to use is to add a rep to each set. So if I'm doing 5x5, now I'm going to do 5x6 at 100 kilograms with 2 minutes rest. All right, this equates to 600 kilograms per set. 6 reps, 100 kilos, 600 kilograms. Okay, add that up over 5 sets. Now we have 3,000 kilograms of total volume. All right, the rest period is going to remain the same. The tempo is going to remain the same. The weight is going to remain the same. We've just added a rep. Okay, now the next thing to do is add a set. So instead of doing 5x5, we do 6 sets of 5 at 100 kilograms with 2 minutes rest. Okay, this equates to 500 kilograms per set. We do that over 6 sets, and again, there's 3,000 kilograms of total volume. All right, rest periods remain the same, and the tempo remains the same. The next thing we're going to do is look at increasing time under tension. Now, we can do this by looking at tempo. So if I'm doing 5x5 at 100 kilos, okay, it might take me 2 seconds per rep. It might be 1 second down, bounce out that bottom position, 1 second up. There's 2 kilos per rep, okay? So to increase time under tension, I might simply add a pause to the bottom of that squat. So now we're getting some pause squats in. All right, so to increase time under tension, I take my 5x5 at 100 kilos with 2 minutes rest. Now I add some tempo. I go 1 second down, I pause 1 second in that bottom position, 1 second up. Okay, so now I've just taken my time under tension from 10 seconds, which is 5 reps, 2 seconds per rep, okay, 10 seconds per set. Now I've just added 5 seconds per set. Then what I'm going to do is look at decreasing rest period. So I'm going to take my 5x5 at 100 kilos, 2 seconds per rep. Okay, instead of having 2 minutes rest, now I'm going to have a minute 45 rest. So I'm still keeping my load at 500 kilograms per set. Okay, that is 2,500 kilograms total volume. Okay, so I'm doing the same amount of work, but I'm doing it with less rest, which adds up to improved work capacity. All right, so I've given 5 different options for looking at progressive overload. Okay, that's just with one exercise. Now, the point that I want to make here is that these are all great tools, okay, but they're great tools in their own right. If you start adding them all together, if you add 5 kilos, then you decrease your rest period and you increase your time under tension, and you add an extra set and you add an extra rep, then you're going to fuck yourself up because your total volume has gone from, say, 2,500 kilograms and you've jacked that right up to, 4,000, 4,500, 5,000 total kilograms total volume. So be smart with how you use these tools and make sure you're using them appropriately. And again, go back and listen to the dose-response relationship episode so you get a clearer understanding of how all of this fits together. All right, that winds up today's episode of the progressive overload examples. Just a heads up for people who have been listening for a while and following the content. One, I appreciate all of the support and the love, the comments, the shares, and the stories and things like that. So thank you guys very much. In saying that, I will be pulling back on the podcast content over the next month or so as I look to start moving into phase 2 of my business, where I'm going to be putting together a website. I'm going to be filming some training programs, writing nutrition ebooks, and linking some of these podcast episodes to training programs so people can go onto my website, click buy, and have a program, nutrition ebook, and podcast episodes delivered straight to your email so you can kick off on your own strength and conditioning journey. That's it from me today, guys. Any 5-star ratings and reviews are much appreciated. Much love. Peace.